Hello, and welcome to Inventors Helping Inventors. I'm your host, Alan Beckley, inventor of the Wonder Wallet. If you're an inventor searching for proven ways to make money with your invention, if you dream to see your product selling in stores everywhere, you've come to the right place. There's no better place to get help than from experts, inventors who've already achieved success. Every week, I interview successful inventors, asking them the questions you want to know. Tune in to learn from the experts so you can get your invention out of the tank and into the bank. I wanted to take just a moment and ask you a small favor. Could you take just a moment and go out to your platform where you listen to the podcast, whether that's Apple Podcast or Spotify or wherever you listen, and please give us a 5-star rating. Those ratings help a lot. It helps the platform to know that the content is valuable, and it helps other listeners like you to be able to find the podcast. So if you're enjoying this podcast, if you've listened to it once or for 1 month or for 5 years, if you could do me that small favor of just giving it a 5-star rating, and if you don't mind spending another 30 seconds and writing a short review, that helps the podcast tremendously. So I would really appreciate it if you can take a couple of moments and do that. It certainly helps the podcast to find other inventors just like you. Thanks a lot. Welcome to episode number 579. Today, it's Thursday, and that means it's time for another Thursday Thought. So, what is your Thursday thought for today? It's a question that inventors ask me frequently. Why does it take so long? Now, there's many different variations of this one, but if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, if you've been an inventor for a while, you know the rule of thumb is everything takes twice as long as you expect and costs twice as much. But for today's episode, I want to focus on a specific question. Why does it take so long once you've signed a license deal before you see your first royalty payment? Put another way, why does it take so long to get paid after you license your invention? So let's walk through this step by step. So you've just signed your license agreement, you're very excited, and things are beginning to move. Step 1, it can take up to 3 months for them to source your product. Of course, this is usually overseas with a Chinese manufacturer, and recognize they've got to do a lot of coordination and planning. They must get designs and dimensions from you to the manufacturer, and then they must approve samples before they greenlight massive production from that manufacturer. They want to make sure the product is right before they start creating large volumes of that. So that whole process of setting that up and getting it into the manufacturing pipeline can take typically 3 months. What's next? It can take another 3 months for the product to begin flowing through their retail pipeline to distribution centers and then out to stores. And of course, online may be a bit faster. For each retailer, they must estimate the appropriate initial volume so that they don't supply too little and the retailer runs out too quickly, or worse yet, supply way too much and the retailer has burnt inventory. Don't want that. Then they need to work with the retailers to move the product out to their distribution centers, because all major retailers, whether it's Target or Walmart or others, they all operate out of regional distribution centers that then go out to the stores. And then, of course, ultimately, they move from the distribution centers into the retail stores for consumers to buy. Now, that entire process of beginning to flow through the retail pipeline to the distributions and then out to the stores, that can be yet another 3 months. And lastly, and finally, royalties are typically paid quarterly, 15 days after the end of the 3rd month. That means it may be up to 9 months before you see your first royalty check. But after that, you'll get a royalty check every 3 months. Remember, patience is very important. Now, I was very fortunate in my deal with All Star Products in that they moved, relatively speaking, lightning fast, because my recollection is it was about 6 months after I signed my license deal that I received my first royalty check for the initial sales into HSN. But that's unique and uniquely fast. It's usually more like 9 months. So once again, why does it take so long once you've signed a license deal for you to get your first royalty check? It can take 3 months for them to source your product and get it moving, another 3 months for it to begin to flow through their retail pipeline to the distribution centers and the stores, and finally can be yet another 3 months before you get that first quarterly royalty check. Thanks as always for listening, and we'll be talking to you again soon. Thanks so much for tuning in to Inventors Helping Inventors. If you like the show, please tell your friends about it. Make sure to subscribe in iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts so you won't miss a single episode. Talk to you soon.